a stress-free retirement after putting 35 years in service or attaining the age of 60, whichever comes first, you must have a good retirement plan in place so as to make your rest sweet after labor. Hello and welcome to Pension Matters, our pension awareness program where we teach you how to retire gracefully and without fears. My name is Princess Tribe Ibrahim and it's so good to be back. Thanks for joining us on this episode of the program. Today's package of Pension Matters promises to be exciting and is a special package because we'll be taking on questions we received from our viewers that are screaming for answers. Details of this and more after this timeout. Stay with us.
Do you know there is a new pension scheme in Nigeria? It is mandatory, it is contributory, it is fully funded, based on individual retirement savings account. Under the supervision of the National Pensions Commission, the new pension scheme guarantees lifelong financial independence for every citizen of Nigeria in public or private employment. PENCOM says it's a new dawn. Call the National Pensions Commission now or log on to www.pencom.gov.ng for further details. PENCOM, your contribution counts.
Welcome back. The program is Pension Matters on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA. It's now time for us to know what is trailing in the pension industry with Adanze Okorocha. Ada, take it away.
Thank you very much, Princess. And viewers, welcome to Pension Trail, where I will give you the latest information in the pension industry. My name is Adanze Okorocha. On our story today, Pension Reform Act bridges gap for infrastructure financing. The DG PENCOM, Mrs. Chinelo Anohamozu, says the country's infrastructure financing gap has been significantly reduced with the coming in place of Pension Reform Act 2014. She says PENCOM has pursued strategic reform for the pension industry in Nigeria, and with the Pension Reform Act 2014, challenges of accessing long-term financing for infrastructural development in the country is significantly reduced. Next on our story today, DG taxes African regulators on pension fund safety. The DG PENCOM, Mrs. Chinelo Anohamozu, has emphasized the need for pension fund managers and regulators in Africa to ensure safety of retirement service of workers across the continent. She said this during the annual leadership in Mozambique and told the participants that pension fund assets in Nigeria has risen to $26 billion. She added that the pension fund managers in Nigeria are amenable to investing part of the pension funds in infrastructure and real estate through viable and secure estimable outlets. Lastly, amended Pension Act will accommodate previous loopholes, says PENCOM. The Pension Reform Act 2004 was amended to become Pension Reform Act 2014 so as to accommodate lessons learned, identify loopholes and areas for improvement since the contributory pension scheme was enacted. According to the Commission, there was need to ban fraudulent diversion and conversion of retirement service of workers and retirees and bring the pension reform law in tune with current developments with a view to exploring new investment windows for pension funds and among other things. Well, viewers, that's all we have for you in this segment. Over to you, Princess.
Thank you, Adanze, for that update. If you're just joining us, the program is Pension Matters, where we talk pension. The National Pension Commission, under its able leadership, the Director General, Chinelo Anohamozu, they're working tirelessly to make sure that your contribution counts and to make sure you access your retirement benefits as at when due. That's why the Pension Reform Act of 2004 was amended in year 2014. Today, the Nigerian retirees under this new package and the Nigerian workforce are singing a new song, a happy song for that matter. However, they're still asking some questions. And today, Ehi Edwards will be having a discussion with Mr. Bishe Baron, and he'll be providing answers to some of those questions.
Thank you very much. Now we'll go fully into our discussion for today. On our program today, is going to be a special package for you, our viewers out there who have been writing us, sending us text messages on Facebook and Twitter handle with one challenge or the other. And to discuss this program with you is to share the issues you're going through and provide solutions to your questions. To take this with us today in the studio is a pension expert. He is the CEO, Pension Academy, and the person of Mr. Omobishe Barrow. You're welcome on this program.
Thank you very much.
Before we start with our questions from our viewers, we'd like you to throw in more light into the pension industry generally in Nigeria so far. How would you say it to me?
Well, I think the industry has grown quite well. Lots of things have improved. Compliance levels should be significantly higher. I think that after the first wave in 2005, 2006, there's still a lot that has to be done in terms of driving compliance. That is the number of people, especially in the private sector, that have retirement savings accounts. I think that's a very important thing. The number of people saving, the amount of savings and contributions has been good. The PFAs are doing quite well to manage the investments and grow the RSAs. And even for people who are retiring and exiting the scheme, the payments have been quite good under the new contributory pension scheme.
That's wonderful. That's it. Now we're going fully into our first email here, which is from Kelechi Uzo, and she said, how can I get my money after being out of work for over 3 months?
Okay, under the new Pension Reform Act 2014, the law says that if you leave full-time employment and you are unemployed for about 4 months, you can access up to 25% of your RSA balance as a lump sum before attaining the age of 50 years. So what I would say to Kelechi is that she should go to her PF. If she has been out of work for a period of up to 4 months, she should go to her pension fund administrator and make an application for her retirement benefits.
Kelechi, you've had it all. Your PFA is there to put you through, no matter what exactly is the issue you have. We want to move ahead to Abdullahi Akande, and he said, please kindly advise me on how to go about having a PFA for my business as someone in the private business, and which of the PFAs should I use? And he needs an advice.
I would say, wow, the PFAs who are listening now will be excited to know where Abdullahi's office is.
Where will
they
he
can
go
and
to?
grab him, but essentially, Abdullahi, you have the choice of PFA is not in your own hands, so that any of your employees can approach any licensed pension fund administrator that they want and open an account and get a personal identification number and give you that number so that you can then make remittances on their behalf to their retirement savings account. So for a business and under the pension law, it is not the business, it's not the company that opens the retirement savings account. Rather, it is the individuals that open the retirement savings account. So it's for you to tell your staff to go to the PFA of their choice. Now, none of us can make that choice on behalf of the individuals. So they are licensed PFAs. They are all regulated by the National Pension Commission. They have all been found to be fit and proper to do the job of pension fund administration. So the choice is left to the individual employees to get a PFA and to inform you, Abdullahi, as their employer or whatever you are, and then they would start to operate those accounts.
I'd like us to throw in more light into this, because we've come across workers who have actually complained that they were not given the opportunity to pick a PFA of their choice. Their employer actually imposed a PFA on them, like this is the PFA we're working with, and so you have no choice. So what would you have to say about people who fall into that category?
Well, it's unfortunate, and sometimes that happens because employers are not well informed, and neither are the employees. So for example, in my own organization, we've got people with different retirement savings accounts from different PFAs. I even know, as a matter of fact, that even with the PFAs, so for example, someone works with XYZ PFA, the person is not even compelled to have an account with that same PFA. So if you go to any of the PFAs, you will find their employees who may have chosen other PFAs, maybe because they were working somewhere else before they moved into that PFA. But very clearly, nobody is allowed to force you to have a particular PFA.
I'd like to add one more so that we can get full understanding. The Pension Reform Act 2014 has made provisions for a self-employed person to buy into the contributory pension scheme. So how can somebody in that position, how can he go about it?
Well, I imagine that the National Pension Commission may issue further clarifications or guidelines. But even think about this. If you are self-employed, and you are self-employed with a business name or with a registered company, then it means that, you are registered with the CAC, meaning that you can contribute. I mean, if you think about, for example, myself, when we started our own organization, we were only 3 employees, myself and 2 others. Now, under the old Pension Act, you needed to have a minimum of 5 employees, but this doesn't stop us from participating. So I would say that if somebody is self-employed and has a registered business name, either as a registered name or an RC, a registered company, then that person can generate a PIN based on the name of that company. So except self-employed means that you absolutely have no business identity apart from yourself. But if you've got a business identity apart from yourself, you can open a retirement savings account. And if the Pension Commission then issues guidelines about how people who are completely, they're not even registered businesses, yes, maybe those guidelines would clarify
that
on how it will happen.
Thank you. And we have Mr. Lanre Onifade, and he said, I just discovered that the monies deducted is not remitted into my account. And what do? I have tried all I can.
Without trying to market anybody, but I'm sure we've all seen or heard an advert from one of the PFAs, very creative, talking about how people can monitor what their employers are claiming to do. So the point is that, Mr. Onifade, if your employer claims that they have deducted monies and they have made the contribution and credited your RSA, then essentially it should be in your RSA. Your PFA would send you a text message, your PFA will send you an email notification, you can go online and check the balance, you can get a statement on a quarterly basis. All of these mechanisms are available for people to know how much money is in their retirement savings account and whether monies that have been remitted have hit the accounts. Now, if there's a discrepancy between what your employer says they have remitted and what is in your account, then I would say 2 things. You should go first to your pension fund administrator to be sure that everything that has been remitted has been credited. Sometimes there are small mistakes that happen where maybe there's one number out of a PIN, your 10-digit PIN or so, that 11-digit PIN, one number is missing, so the PFA has to keep it in a suspense account and try to resolve it. But clearly it doesn't sound like that's what Mr. Onifade's problem is. I would just say that then the second recourse is to your employer, and to say to your employer, and I think that employers need to be responsible in dealing with these issues. If they are unable to make payments to people's RSAs, first of all, it's a violation of the law. So legally they're already on the wrong side of the law. Now, being on the wrong side of the law as an employer, what you should be doing is to be petting your employees and calming them down, rather than misleading them to think that money has been remitted on their behalf when it has not, because you're already on the wrong side of the law. You're already doing something wrong, so perhaps Mr. Onifade's employer is the person that I should be speaking to say, look, be pop and plain with him. If you've not been able to remit because you're struggling with cash flows, then have a discussion. But you must know that even having that discussion in itself doesn't absolve you of the responsibility. The law is very clear that 7 working days after the salaries are paid, your pension contributions, employer-employee, should be deducted and remitted to the pension fund administrator.
Thank you very much. Viewers, we will take a break and be back in a moment to continue with this discussion. Don't go away. You're welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Pension Matters, and this program today is specially for you, our viewers out there, who have one question or the other. We'll have experts in the house who is treating these questions, and I hope you have been enlightened so far. Now, let's take us back to questions. We have Mr. Moses Ogundare, and he says, I need to make a choice. I need to know the difference between annuity and program withdrawal. And what would you advise me to go into, please?
All right, first of all, Moses, thanks for your question, but I can't advise you, so I'll take the second one first. That's the easier one, but I will try to share with you the basic differences between annuity and program withdrawal. Similarities that they do the same thing. They give you a fixed periodic payment over a period of time. The program withdrawal under the Pension Reform Act is administered by your PFA. So it's only the PFA that does the program withdrawal. And essentially what the program withdrawal does is that it pays you a fixed amount based on a formula prescribed by the National Pension Commission, working with the PFAs, that looks at the current balance on your RSA, an assumed return on investment, and a projected lifespan, and continuously adjusts and pays you down, meaning that the money is there, you are getting paid, there is a reducing balance, and the reducing balance is continuously invested for your benefits. That's how the program withdrawal works. Now, the annuity, on the other hand, is administered by life insurance companies. Now, it means the money will leave your PFA to the life insurance company. Now, the life insurance company will enter into an annuity contract with you. That annuity contract will specify that for giving this upfront lump sum amount to the life insurance company, the life insurance company guarantees to pay you X amount every month till you die. Okay, so very similar. The difference, I think, is just that with annuities, there's typically, and I'm not an insurance expert, there's typically a period, like a safe period, within which if you die within that period, then you then lose the entire money. With the RSA, there's no safe period, meaning with the program withdrawal, so it doesn't matter. If you die within any period, the entire balance on your RSA under the program withdrawal will be paid to your named beneficiary. Within this safe period in the annuity contract, if you die within that period, then the insurance company takes over the balances. So I think that's essentially the difference. But I would say very categorically to people like Moses and others who are concerned about annuity and program withdrawal, ask both sides. Go to your pension fund administrator, ask the questions. Go to the life insurance company, ask the questions, and make a comparison. And then make a decision. The law is very clear that neither side, PFA nor insurance company, can coerce you or even advise you that one product is better than the other. It's a choice that you as the retiree will have to make all by yourself, and even I cannot advise you either.
To make that decision. Thank you, sir. This takes us back to the fact that we need to plan and take a look at what exactly we need to do before we take the steps. So, Mr. Moses, we hope we've been able to throw in light to this question, and we hope you have a wonderful time. Well, time is really against us, but I think we can actually squeeze in this. It's really very short. He said, we have Henry. He said, please, I need clarification on this. I resigned voluntarily from a bank. 6 months later, I went to my PFA to get my 25%, and I was asked to wait until I'm 50 years before I can have access to that. Is this true? And if it is true, how can I go about it?
Well, you said the gentleman's name is Henry.
Mr. Henry, yes.
Henry. I think that may have been under the Act before 2014. So I would say that he should go back to his pension fund administrator and make the request again. I believe that the law has changed,
yes.
And the law does allow for people to access their RSAs. Like I said earlier on the program, even with after 4 months of not finding a new job. Now, it's possible if you have found a new job, then you can't access it.
Yes.
But if you haven't found one, I would say go back to your PFA and make the inquiry again.
Thank you very much, Mr. Barrow. We appreciate your time with us. Well, viewers, we hope we have been enlightened so far with the discussions we've had based on the questions that came from you, either on Facebook, Twitter handles, or on the text messages. And we hope that you will continue to write us in areas that you feel you have one challenge or the other. Mr. Barrow, before we close, I'd like you to do a recap of what you expect. What do you think retirees should expect in this dispensation in the pension industry?
Well, I think not only retirees, but even people who are in active service, I think that we should get better service from our PFAs. The law, the 2014 Act, also allows a lot of things. There are new changes, people accessing their RSAs to be able to take mortgages and things like that. So I think that those are things that will help alleviate the sufferings of Nigerian people, and hopefully some of those pension funds invested in infrastructure projects, more into the capital market, more into the business community in Nigeria, will help to grow our economy and better the life of everybody, not just RSA holders and retirees.
Thank you so much.
Hope you were able to learn a thing or two from that chat Ehi Edwards had with Mr. Barron. Like they normally say, seed time and harvest time is very important in the life of a man. No wonder the new pension system is contributory, is fully funded, and individually managed. That's why you can now open a retirement savings account with a pension fund administrator of your choice without being coerced by anybody. Well, they said knowledge is power. It's time for our pension education segment with Mr. Patrick Iwo.
Thank you, Princess. Welcome, viewers, to Pension Education. My name is Igbo Patrick, and today we'll briefly look into life after retirement. The body clock is one very key aspect of every employee's life. It tells you when to wake up, it tells you what to do, it tells you where to be, and also reminds you of what to do. This continues even after retirement. So the question is, how do I manage this aspect of the body clock? What it entails is that you need to re-engage yourself. As we all know, retirement can take various forms, particularly as we approach our various aspects of life. It could either be voluntarily. It can also be as a result of the length of service that one has put in, or as a result of age. Now, re-engagement depends on two aspects of life: your state of mind and your state of health. It is advised that life after retirement should not cease, but rather be a phase for a new beginning. Hence, retirees are advised to take up or look out for one or two other events that they can participate in. You could look back and trace your steps from your work experience and see where you fit in. There are some of us who are good in providing services. That aspect can also be taken care of by rendering consultancy services to those who are in need, particularly those in the accounting area, those who are also in the admin sector, who have vast experience that one has actually shared or acquired over years, can be put into practice in that form in order to keep the body and mind active and to avoid various illnesses that will result from idleness. You can also look at the agricultural sector and see what you can get out of it. A little skill from there will help you to be able to know the area to venture into, whether into the poultry area or fishery, or in the aspect of snail farming and any other aspect of agriculture that you think will be comfortable for you. And I think with this, who says that you might not be adding a value to the economy of the country, particularly now that we're trying to diversify into other areas or other sectors apart from the oil sector. So please look inwards, think twice, and make the best of your opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Patrick, for educating us. It is good to know that when you retire and you are not tired, you can pick up some other engagement. I think this is cheering news to our Nigerian retirees. Well, that's our package of pension matters for this week. We do hope you enjoyed all our offerings. But you can reach us on our Facebook page, our Twitter handle, our email, as is being displayed on your screen right now. Until next week, same time, same station, I remain yours, Princess Rabi Ibrahim, and I urge you to enjoy the rest of your weekend. God bless you.